Before we get this podcast started, we're going to give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Trucks, Tools, Tradition. You know that we fully support Dingus Fire Company. You can check them out on the web at dingusfirecompany.com. And here it comes, going down the street. Roll it! You're listening to Views from the Jumpseat podcast. Bunker up, buckle in. It's time for the show to begin. One thing remains constant in the fire service is that we start day one in the jump seat. So if you're a chief officer, welcome back. If you're the day one probationary, welcome aboard. It's time for Jumpseat Radio. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jumpseat Radio, the podcast that once again scours the Instagram, digs down in the weeds, and finds the coolest of the cool, the baddest of the bad. So I got to give a backstory about before we bring this guest on. He and I have been talking over Instagram now for, I don't know, months, years. I lost count because we talk just about every day. And it's been interesting to follow his journey. And I'm bringing him on the podcast today to talk about something specific, something hopefully it's going to help me and it's going to help you, the listeners. No way I'm going to approach his name, but I know him by the Keto Firefighter. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey, give everybody a quick introduction. Who you are, where you're from, and why the flip are you on Jumpseat Radio?
Yeah, man. So my name is Kieran Carabine. I'm a firefighter paramedic with the City of Newport News. We're in Southeast Virginia. Been doing keto for almost 2 years, and integrated it into my firehouse, and actually throughout the department, really, with a bunch of guys kind of jumping on this lifestyle change, because I hate calling it a diet, because diets end and you go back to doing the same crap you were doing. So I try to tell everyone, we're changing your lifestyle, and we're adopting this new way to live. And in the firehouse, it's always tough because the firehouse is fried chicken and meatloaf, sausage gravy on the weekend. So it's been fun though. The firehouse has been real receptive of it.
Nice. So tell me how you started it. What made you make this change? What drove the horse, so to speak, on making this lifestyle adjustment? And I love how you say this lifestyle adjustment, because I'll give you a little story about here. We've had a couple fire stations, not fire guys, buy in, and their whole station does it, and it's been fantastic. And I'll give you some more story. Tell me how you started your journey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't really even take full credit for it. I got to give credit to my wife. But that's just part of the story. So, before I even joined the fire department, I was, horribly overweight, 265, 270, and I'm only a 5'9", guy. So, I started running because, man, I was fat. I was getting winded just going from the car to the parking lot, up the stairs. I had, issues with eating, binge eating, eating disorder I've been, messing with my whole life. And I kept tricking myself into thinking, hey, man, everything's fine. I would literally sit on the couch, eat a whole DiGiorno pizza and a whole big bag of Doritos. And I go, ooh, that was a lot of food. I'm going to do 10 push-ups. And I would trick myself to say, yeah, man, that was fine. I'm good now. That's not that bad. And it was just this constant cycle of eating and binging and thinking that I was still good. And so I started running, and I signed up for a half marathon with a friend of mine, and it kept me motivated running and dropping weight, feeling better, but still clueless on what I was eating. Like, I was just eating like a lean pocket for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and going out and running 10 miles and thinking that was okay, and thinking that I could, sustain like that. And so I lost a bunch of weight that way, and was looking for a career change, because I don't come from a firefighting family. I'm not a volunteer. We didn't have volunteers where I grew up in Virginia Beach, so I wasn't aware of that lifestyle. But a buddy of mine, who's actually one of my best friends in the world, who I now work with on shift at the same station. We're on the hazmat team together. We went through rookie school together. He had been applying for a while, and I saw him at a house party one night, and we were just doing what young dudes do, carrying on and stuff. And he said, man, I'm applying again to this department. You know, it's his third time. And he said, you should try. You should put in and go for it. I said, okay, I'll do it. And went through the whole process, because you know that hiring process is such a beast. It was like 8 months long, just waiting on phone calls. And finally, he got his phone call. He did his piss test, did his polygraph, did his physical, and he's like, man, I'm starting on Monday. And this was Friday. And I said, well, I guess it's not for me. And I was the kind of guy that was like, you know what, it's not for me. I'll find something else.
Right.
I was ready. I had a full-time job. I liked my job. It was just boring and it wasn't challenging. So I said, well, I'll just go back to that and I'll find something else. And Friday afternoon at like 4:15, 4 o'clock, the chief of the department called, and he's got the voice of God. And so he said, Mr. Carabine, I apologize, but we had somebody drop out, and you're the first alternate.
Nice.
So, I'd like to offer you. I said, I don't care which number I was. I said, you offer me a job, I'll take it. So I had to go that day to get a physical, and I was at work Monday morning for the academy. I just said, told my bosses, hey, sorry, no 2 weeks, but this is how it is.
Right.
And man, best decision I ever made. But even then, even in the fire academy, because they kick your butt every day.
Yep.
I still had issues, and I still had issues with body dysmorphia and issues with eating. And we would leave the academy, and we drove over an hour each way in the morning and afternoon. And luckily for him, we alternated days, and so it wasn't that bad. But I'd get home and I'd go to the gym for another hour and a half because I still felt fat. I still saw that fat kid in the mirror, dealing with these issues. And it was so unhealthy. I show up the next day just completely drained. Like, what am I doing? I'm 30 years old trying to compete with 20-year-olds.
Don't work those.
And then, once you get out of the academy, you hit the floor. Man, I never knew what sausage gravy was until I hit the firehouse. I grew up at the beach. We didn't have sausage gravy. We didn't do fried chicken on Sundays. So it was like, it was like college all over again and getting paid for it. I was eating whatever I wanted. They were cooking good food. There was always snacks and cakes that people were dropping off. And so I slowly, started gaining some weight back. And I had gotten down to 175.
Wow.
Prior, or actually in the academy, I got down to 175. It had slowly crept up to about like 220, 230. So like my turnout coat was getting a little tighter, and my turnout pants it was harder to buckle. I wasn't even cinching them down on the sides anymore. And I met my wife after I hit the floor. I met her. She was a nurse. I met her at the hospital, brought her a patient. And you know what happens during that new relationship? You're going out, you're going to dinner, you're getting happy, you're eating that ice cream on the couch, watching a movie, everything's all good. And then you wake up fat again. You're like, what the crap? So she suggested it to me. Said, hey, why don't we try keto? It was about almost 2 years ago. I said, yeah, if you want to do it with me, let's do it. And we figured it out and got to reading and researching. And it's been the only sustainable thing that we have found to stay healthy, stay motivated, and keep weight off. So yeah, I mean, that's a long nutshell, but in a nutshell, that's been my journey over the last 10 years.
So how'd you get that into the firehouse? Because that's hard, because gravy's on Friday, it's deep dish pizza Saturdays, it's no hand food Sundays. And I tell you, it's so freaking hard.
It is, but the beauty of the firehouse, and this, and it comes with anything. It comes from EMS calls, fire calls, just house duties. You have certain guys that are the doers. They put in the maximum effort and they do most of the work. And you have the other guys that they're not doing the work, but they're going to go with the guys that are doing the work, and they're going to help out, and they're going to get the job done too. Well, it's just like this, I cook a lot at the firehouse, so I put the food down in front of them. What they're not going to eat? right?
You
So,
either eat what mama's cooking or you ain't eating nothing.
right. Yeah. So like it was tough. You know, they rib on you and they get on your case about it, but it, it's all in fun. It's something, you know, a lot of people didn't understand at first. Then when you show, it's like, hey, this is some good food. Or, hey, like after dinner, we can go do a house fire and do some work. And I don't feel like I'm about to throw up or crap my pants. So, a lot of the guys, they eat what you cook, and then they go home and they eat however else they want to eat. But, it didn't take long, really. And then, you know, word got spread that we were the keto shift, and people and other guys started asking, and they started cooking on their shifts and at their stations. So a lot of guys are doing it now.
Nice. How long did it take for your guys to get adjusted for it, to that new way of thinking? Because right before I started my captain's test, I was 2 weeks in feeling like freaking fantastic, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But how did that start? I mean, did they accept it? I mean, was it still ice cream? Was it still a Baskin Robbins drive-by every now and then? How did you start that integration?
Because, well, you know, in the firehouse, your dinner it's meat, a veggie, and a starch, basically.
Right.
So all we really did was we removed the starch and up the meat and up the veggie, and then made the veggie taste better by putting cheese on, right? So like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, you put some cheese on it. It makes everything better. And
you had me at cheese.
Yep, cheese is keto friendly. So, you know, and then we instead of just taking everything out, we had starch options for the older guys or the guys, you know, because we got a guy on our ship. He's 45 years old, but he's a freak. He's a genetic freak, and he's got a 6-pack of abs, and he'll eat 2 bowls of ice cream and still wake up with abs. So, you know, he can eat all the carbs he wants, but, you know, with me, I eat a bowl of ice cream and I'm tipping the scale 10 pounds heavier, you know. But so yeah, we took a lot of our main dishes. We got a bunch of staple dishes that we do almost every cycle, and then we just removed the starch. So like we do a chicken sandwich that we did cheese and bacon on, and you put it on a bun, you eat it. It's a great sandwich. But we took the bun away, but then it gets you thinking like, well, we took the bun away. How can we up this chicken sandwich? So now we have smothered chicken breast.
Oh.
It's the same thing as the sandwich, but it's no bun, and it is loaded with bacon, with cheese, with jalapenos, with mushrooms. So now it's this main focal point of this dish. And you're like, well, shoot, I don't even need a bun anymore.
No, you had me at jalapenos and mushrooms.
Yeah, jalapenos, cheese, and mushrooms. It goes on basically everything we cook.
So now, how did that affect your, and this is the thing that I keep hearing about the ketogenic diet, and I'll let you explain what ketosis is. How did that start affecting your performance on the fire ground? Did you have any lag? Did you have any switching over? Did you have any effect whatsoever on your physical performance when you very first started?
So, what I tell everyone is I'm not a big sciencey guy, and I'll never try to be. They can check out Thomas DeLauer for that stuff. He's incredibly smart with it. We're at the like cellular level of what goes on. But basically, what ketosis is your body runs, or traditionally your body wants to run off either fat or glucose, and it's always run on glucose for us because we eat a lot of carbs, we eat a lot of sugar and candy and pastries and things like that. But ketosis is where you eliminate those carbs and those sugars, and it forces your body to run off the fat. So your liver produces ketones, which your body will then use as energy, because your brain runs entirely off of glucose, but it takes up about 25% of your body's glucose to function. So then it doesn't leave a lot for your body. So if you don't, like the guys that do the low carb, low fat,
right?
If you don't have any energy, you're pulling from your muscles for energy. So by replacing those carbs with fats, you can use that fat for energy. So there is, like you were saying at the beginning, there is a lag time. It's called a keto flu that some people experience. When you take away all your carbs, you feel lethargic, you feel weak, almost like you have the regular flu. I never got it. Thank God. My wife never got it. It comes down to replacing electrolytes and drinking a lot of water and salt. But performance-wise, for me, I've never felt better performing. And I do I train regularly for marathons, and I do it all keto adapted. I do it fully fasted, up to 24 hours sometimes. I feel more sustained. I feel like I recover faster. And I don't know, it's just a better way to feel, to be honest.
We got to pull this podcast over and give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Dingus Fire Company. Nick Dingus and all of his great group of folks out in the Midwest have been sponsoring not only this podcast, but the fire service for years. Make sure to check them out over at dingusfirecompany.com. Jumpseat Radio is a proud member of the Chief Miller Media family. Chief Miller is an awesome friend, and he runs a great Instagram page. Check him out on Instagram at Chief_Miller_, and you can find his merch and the Jumpseat Radio merch at chiefmillerapparel.com. Now back to this awesome podcast. I'm pretty sure he was sitting beside the ocean. I don't even know how to even ask this question and not sound like an idiot. All right, I'm the Jumpseat guy listening to this podcast. I'm 60 pounds overweight. Oh, wait, maybe this is Ryan. How do I start? Where do I start this process out? Because it's inevitable that you're going to see the successes out there. I mean, if you just look around, you're going to find somebody who's been successful with ketogenic. And I mean, you had me at cheese. You had me in mushrooms. I tell you the part, and maybe I'm going to throw this out there. The part that I can't get is getting off the drinks. And it seems like the time that I was successful with it, I had to start liking, and this is like, I say it's communism at its finest, is unsweetened tea. But how do you get past that part? I mean, especially on the fire ground, because it's like, and this is the part that I struggled with. All right, first question. I'm a 60-pound overweight guy getting ready to go in the jump seat, or girl that's in it. How do I start the keto diet?
Okay, so you got to figure out what you're eating or how much you're eating, because your body has a caloric rate that it burns every day. Your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is the amount of calories that you will burn, that Ryan in the jump seat will burn lying in bed for 24 hours. Lying in bed for 24 hours, not doing a darn thing, your body's going to burn this amount of calories. So you got to find out what that is, and then you got to eat less of it or eat the same, and then just exert more energy to be in a caloric deficit. If you don't know what that is, and a lot of people don't, there is a crazy formula that you can put all your info in, but for just down and dirty firefighter style way to figure it out, take your current weight, multiply it by 10. Say you're 200 pounds. Multiply it by 10. It's 2,000. That's your calorie intake. That's what you should eat during the day. And then for keto, the way macros break down for keto is you want to take 75% of your calories from fat, and it sounds like a lot, but 75%, you want 20% from protein and 5% from carbs, 5 to 0% from carbs. So once you break that down, then that's how you figure out how you would eat. And then as you go, you'll plateau and you'll lower it by 10%, you'll lower it by 100 calories, whatever's going to work for you. But the firefighter way, that is the easiest way to do it.
All right.
So you don't have to mess with any formulas or anything.
Break it down even further. You lost me at all these percents. What am I eating for breakfast? Eggs, cheese, mushrooms. That sounds good to me.
Okay. Let's put it this way. What am I eating for breakfast? Nothing. I'm not eating anything for breakfast. I'm drinking black coffee or water all day until noon or 1. Because this is the 60-pound overweight jump seat would also benefit from intermittent fasting.
Oh, there you go.
So now you're closing that eating window during the day. So if you start eating first thing in the morning. Now, if you stay on a strictly protein and fat kind of diet, you're still going to have some insulin spikes. Insulin spikes create cravings, and it creates a need to eat. So if you start eating first thing in the morning when you get to the firehouse, you're going to want to snack all day.
Right. You
start snacking, by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you're probably already at your calorie max for the day. And then after that dinner, because it's hard to find a dinner in a firehouse under 1,000 calories.
No.
Right. So now you're in a surplus, and you wake up the same shape you were the morning before. So if you can do intermittent fasting, that would also help a lot with losing weight. But yes, if you were going to eat breakfast, eggs, meat, cheese.
All right. Same thing for lunch. Meat.
You
cheese.
could, yeah. You could do like a 6-ounce hamburger patty on the grill. Throw some bacon, throw some cheese, a fried egg, jalapenos, fork and knife it.
Oh, now we're getting into it now. All right. Hey, go start the oven upstairs for me. I think you're the first one that said about watching your calories with this. What happens if you go over with your caloric intake? Do you still need to run that deficit to start getting into that loss cycle, if I would say that right?
The what? The loss cycle?
Yeah. It's like, do we still need to run the deficit to lose weight? Can you still overeat on ketosis, I guess?
Well, yeah, you can, because your body's going to only absorb so much, and depending how frequent, it's going to be hard to fit. Like if you do intermittent fasting, it's going to be hard to fit 3,000, 4,000 calories in that eating window.
Right.
So if you're eating too much during the day, your body, your stomach and your digestion is like a machine, right? If you're constantly running, it's like your HVAC. If you're constantly running that HVAC,
right,
it's going to lag at times, and it's not going to perform as good running it 24 hours a day every day. So if you're eating, it's like the old mindset was, you wanted to get big, you had to eat 6 meals a day. Well, if you're eating 6 meals a day, your digestion, your digestive tract, and your stomach have no time to rest. It has no time to rebuild that good gut bacteria it takes to digest food. So that next meal you eat, maybe you don't digest it so well. Maybe you have stomach issues, or maybe it's just you still got some stuff in the tank, and your body has nothing to do with it, so it absorbs it as fat, or it stores it into cell. You know what I mean? So you can overeat, but you can also bulk with keto and build good lean muscle as long as you do it the right way.
Man. All right, so now you're on the fire ground, and this is the part that I struggle with, and maybe because it's what most keto people call me as a sugar burner. Just went through my first cylinder, and I'm wiped. I mean, I'm just wiped, and it's like I could drink the river, and it seems like water could never quench my thirst. But now, when I drink a Gatorade, it's like, all right, I feel better now. Is that just because I haven't switched over to the ketosis, whatever you say it? Is it just because I'm still such a sugar-dependent fat kid?
It could be, or it could just be that Gatorade is so much better than water, right? How much of it is a mental thing?
Right.
So because I like Gatorade too. I like the flavor of it. I like the way it makes me feel. I make my own Gatorade in the morning. So I take a gallon jug. I won't say who it's from, but I take a gallon jug. I fill it with water, and I put 6 grams of good pink Himalayan sea salt, and then I put a 0-calorie sweet flavor in there, flavor water.
Right.
It tastes just like Gatorade, and it's giving you that sodium, potassium, magnesium, all those micronutrients that your body really needs while being on keto, because you're not eating a lot of vegetables, so you can become deficient in some of those areas. It tastes just like Gatorade. I find that I drink it more because I know it's got some flavor to it, and I know it tastes good.
Right.
Or I take a ditty bag. I have a backpack that I keep with me on my trucks, and I got a couple Quest bars in there, some nut butters that if I'm really gassed coming out, or if we've been running all day medic calls and I haven't had a chance to get back to the stations, because the EMS rooms have a bunch of food in there, but I don't eat any of that stuff, so I need to keep snacks on hand to eat. So I'll keep stuff like that that's not going to go bad for a while, and I know that I'll eat eventually.
I'm curious about this now because I'm ready to start back. And I tell you, it's hard to get that start. I mean, it's like it only takes me 5 days to get into the keto mindset, and when I'm in it, it's like I'm all in it. And I'm telling you what, the peer pressure around my station. Listen, I love my guys.
Oh, yeah.
When I get promoted, I'm going to might even cry leaving my house because I get along with them. But let me tell you what now, they have no interest in it. None.
Yeah. But and like I said though, you know, you can cook meals that it's like I do at the house, you know, because we got 3 kids, and you know, they don't eat keto, so instead of eating two or cooking 2 different meals every night, we just cook our keto meal, and then we throw in a starch for them, throw in some French fries, or throw in mashed potatoes or mac and cheese, and then we can eat together. So it's the same at the Firehouse. You know, when we make our smothered chicken or we do our bunless burgers, you know, throw out some buns, throw out some French fries. That way we can all eat the same, because that's important to me, is eating together at the Firehouse. And it's something I tell the rookies, and we get our little ride-alongs that come for the summer and just ride the fire truck. And for the first couple of weeks, they're so timid and they're so shy they don't want to sit down. They don't want to eat. And they're like, no, I'm good. I brought something else. I'll eat it later.
Right.
So I pull them aside. I say, hey man, look, I said, fellowship, dinner time, breakfast time. I said, these are important times for the Firehouse. If we get to do it, it's the one time that we get to sit down. We get to talk to each other. We get to tell stories and get some stuff off your chest that no one else in the world will understand. You know, we see things that sometimes you can't go home and tell your wife or your girlfriend. Luckily, my wife's a nurse practitioner, so she sees the same crazy stuff I do. So I have that outlet, but a lot of people don't.
Right.
I said, I don't care what you're eating. Put it on a plate, sit down and talk with us. And that's how you build that bond and you become that family where everything becomes second nature now, right? So being on the fire ground, you don't have to remind them, hey, make sure to clip in. You know that they're going to do it. You know they're going to be on your hip, and it's just a great way. Eating traditionally and historically it's just always been that way to bring people together,
especially the Firehouse.
You know, yeah, good or bad. You know, whether you're drunk eating a whole pizza pie with your roommate, you know, one night, but you know, good or bad. So
I think it comes down to the individual. And if you listen to podcast number 102 with Brooke Ames, and she said, she said, if you're not ready, you're just not ready. But when you're,
no, that's not what she said. Cause I talked to her about this today. She said, quit eating like an asshole.
She did say that. She did say that.
But man, I was listening to that. I was doing my walk at the station. I laughed out loud, and I was thinking, you know what? I've been an asshole my whole life. You know what? I do have to stop.
Well, it's funny that once, and I hope she's listening to this, Brooke. Yeah, I'm getting ready to throw you under the bus. We shut the podcast off, and we kept talking. It's like, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast. Blah blah blah. She's like, yeah, I'd really like to start this public speaking thing because I really think I have a message. I said, number one, I agree with you. Completely agree with you. You're a very powerful message, and we need more female mouthpieces. I mean that completely in the greatest way. We need more strong female to come out as to say, hey, I'm a female firefighter. I've got a message to share, and you can be one too. But I told her when it hung up, I was like, you're not going to want to hear this. She's like, what's that? I said, you'll teach at FDIC one day soon. She just about swallowed her tongue. I was like, I'm telling you, I've been around the speaking business now since 2009. I know what makes a great public presentation and a presenter, and you're it. And she was like,
oh. I agree completely.
Oh, I do. It's like she was so freaking well spoken, and her message was so freaking awesome. So, I mean, Brooke, if you're listening, I'm going to say it right now publicly for the first time. You will be an FDIC instructor. Hopefully, it will be next year because I'm going to pull some strings with my good buddy Bob. Anyway, all right, dog. Listen, let's give them some takeaways. Man, I'm big on takeaways on Jumpseat Radio. I want to give some takeaways to that fat. You caught me because I lived on pizza and cherry Coke for my whole captain study period. I'm about to swallow my tongue here. How do we get started in this keto lifestyle? How do we get serious about changing the food, changing the Firehouse? And I'm going to forewarn all the Charleston firefighters out there. Guess what Ryan gets here with the next couple months? I get a red hat. And guess what I am? I'm in charge. And I'm not a jerk for very many things, but I'm going to be a jerk about this one. My shift will be ketosis shift. So you better BYO crap. Bring your own crap. How does someone get started with all this?
Meat on meat on meat. I mean, what firefighter is going to turn down good tasting, good quality beef? And like I said, man, we brought it in just full force. We didn't ease into it. We didn't say, hey, try this. He said, hey, here's what's for dinner. You're eating it. I talked all day one day about a casserole, and you would have thought that I was Martha Stewart standing up there, and they're like, casserole? And I said, yeah, chicken cordon bleu casserole. I'm going to make it. They're like, no, man, we hate casserole. Is stupid. We're not doing that. And I tell you what, I put it on the table, and no one said a word for 15 minutes.
Chicken cordon bleu casserole. Now you're traveling my territory here, dog.
And you know, and there's only two reasons why the dinner table at the firehouse is quiet. Right. Either because it's empty because they're on a call, or because they're eating some good food and they don't want to waste time talking.
That's right.
So you just got to do it, man. And your guys are your guys. They'll trust you, or they'll give you shit, you know. But
they're going to give you that anyway.
Yeah, it means they love you. If they didn't like you, they wouldn't talk to you, right?
Oh yeah. It's so funny that my guys, they put out the captain's list, and where I'm setting number 6, they put a big frowny face and said, "I wish I was a little bit taller," or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, at least they're picking on me." Hey, man, thanks for coming on the podcast. I know that you're offering your services up as a previous fat person to all the current fat people. You're doing some online coaching. Dude, I'm so happy and so thrilled that you're reaching out, because just like Brooke, I really do believe that you've got a message out there, and I want to encourage you to start sharing some stuff as well. I mean, I follow your Instagram stories. They're so inspirational. The pics and everything, it's so like that. I'm going to encourage you to keep sharing, but how can they reach out? How can the listeners reach out and contact you if they're interested?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, the Keto Fireman, with dots after each word. That's my main space for like keto and weight loss and firefighting. I do have a Facebook, but that's more family and old school friends. So Instagram is the main way to find me. And like you said, yeah, I have started dabbling in some coaching. I just want to, when I was coming through with being fat and working out, I didn't feel like I had anyone to turn to and talk to, and no one was giving me advice. And I kind of did it all on my own, and it was hard. And I just don't want anyone to have to feel that way, feel like they're alone and feel like they're struggling. And it's not a popular thing to talk about eating disorders and body dysmorphia. And I know I'm a firefighter. I'm tough. I'm strong. But you know what? I deal with demons every day. And this whole bullshit bravado thing, just because I carry an axe, we can talk about our feelings, man. We can we can get down and dirty and say, you know what? I'm not happy with myself, and I need to improve. And so if anyone, they're saying that out loud, but no one's listening, man, I'll listen. Come talk to me. I was talking to a guy the other day, a firefighter out in Kentucky, actually. He reached out and he wanted to do some coaching. And he's like, you know what, man, I just don't know if I want to pay for something like that or whatever. And I said, look, man, I offer free conversations every day.
Right.
Send me a message, ask me a question. We can talk all day long. Just because I'm not coaching you, just because you're not keto, you want to eat regular food, I'll talk to you too. I don't care. We can still be friends. I like keto, but doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
So free conversations all day long. You want to talk, reach out. I'll be more than happy to chat.
Well, and I think when number one, your coaching prices were way, way cheap. I mean, they're worth way more than you're charging for it. But I think when you pay people money, you hold yourself more accountable. So I really think that I was really happy to see you charging people money, because listen, I'm not here to, and if you're listening, this guy's going to know, it's like, I've got this friend, he's a great friend. I love him to death. The dude weighs 340 pounds. 340. He's like, man, I found out what my problem was. I've got sleep this or that. I said, dude, your problem is you are fat.
Yeah.
Period. I said, listen, brother, I love you. I'll do anything. I will drive down where you're at and I'll come hold your hand. But you are way too fat. And he's like, you're right. It's like, well, you can say I'm right all the time, but until you're ready to change, there's nothing I can do to help you.
Well, and hey, what's one of the leading causes of death in the firehouse? Aside from suicide, it's cardiovascular disease, right?
Yep. It's
and I'm not bold enough to say that keto will cure cardiovascular disease, but there are studies that show that it does decrease the likelihood of heart disease, and it does.
Because you're not fat anymore. It's because you're not fat.
Exactly.
Listen, Pip tells me all the time, Ryan, you're too fat.
How simple is that?
Yeah, dude, I get so tired of people fluffing up people. I cannot tell you how many people that I know that have sleep apnea, that each one of them are 100 pounds overweight.
Yep.
And I'm not a doctor, but if you had lost 100 pounds, I bet you don't have to sleep with a machine on your face.
Yeah, how many times do they say, God, that sucks having to put that on every night? Or, God, that sucks waking up in the middle of the night for a call and I got lines indented in my face because of my sleep apnea machine. Hey, man, guess what? Lose some weight.
Let me tell you what, if I've got to wear that machine, I'll be anorexic because I can't sleep anyway. And there's no way in hell I'm sleeping with that machine on my face. And I'm sure there probably is people that have diagnosable clinical sleep apnea that are just as fit or just whatever. And please don't take offense when I say that. But my main thing is like you suck on the fire ground because you suck on the fire ground because you don't drill. You suck at knowing your territory because you don't freaking do territory information. You suck because you're fat because you're fat.
Yeah, you suck because you're fat because you take, the easy way out and you eat what's available.
Well, and I'm talking to Ryan. It's so funny. Everybody says, "Well, how do you keep them up with ideas for podcasts?" Like, because it's therapy for me because I'm fat. I just had an old DiGiorno pizza yesterday, and you had to come out swinging with my good DiGiornos. All right. So thanks for coming on.
Oh, man.
My brother from a ketonic mother. Thanks for doing what you're doing for the fire service. Your Instagram once again is
the Keto Fireman with dots after each. The.keto.fireman.
Nice. And like you said, the conversation, I appreciate your friendship more than anything. I mean, we've been talking for months now, and I'm ready to get started again. I'm ready,
let's do it.
I'm ready to get started again. I really am, because once you get over that first, and I don't know if I want to say this on a podcast or not, ketosis makes me poop a lot.
Hey, man. Well, you gotta think about it though. You're changing the way your body uses food, so you're getting rid of all that nasty stuff, right?
For the first 3 days of doing this, oh my soul! I mean, I was raw. It was like every 30 minutes, it was like, wow. I mean, you want to talk about being on the fire truck? Well, that's a story for another one. Oh boys, I got to go find something. Thanks for coming on the podcast, and it's Kieran, right?
Yeah, Kieran. Yep.
Kieran.
Yeah, everyone. They call me Kiki at the firehouse.
Kiki. I like Kiki. Now that's cool.
That's another story altogether.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, Kieran. And keep pushing out all the information out there. And man, I know you're close to the ocean. Are you around the ocean right now?
Yeah, I live in York County, but I grew up in Virginia Beach, like 30 yards from the ocean. So. Yeah, well, that's gonna
be the end of this podcast because I'm officially freaking jealous. It's been like 60 days since I've seen the water, and I am ready to go back.
Well, hey, next time you're in Virginia Beach, give me a call.
Oh, that's the deal. All right, that's it, everyone. Thanks for listening to Jumpseat Radio Podcast, where our guest is near the ocean, and we don't. Yeah, what's going on with Jumpseat Radio? After the time you hear this podcast, we'll have be getting ready to head up to the Kevin Apuzio training day in New Jersey. So I'll be publishing that all over Jumpseat Training or Jumpseat. It'll be ryanpennington.us, and you can find it on Views from the Jumpseat on Facebook. And big, huge announcement. We have merch. MERCH. Support your boys. Buy some merch. Rock some Jumpseat Radio swag. We'd like to thank Chief Miller. You can find it over at chiefmillerapparel.com. You can get your t-shirts. You can get your coffee mugs, your stickers. You can get your hoodies. Please, please, please support your boy. Copy some merch. It keeps allowing this content to come to you for free. Well, that's it, everyone. This is another wrap for Jumpseat Radio podcast number 104. This was a great conversation about ketosis and the keto fireman. It was a fantastic interview. I got a lot out of this one to put to use. We're booking classes to finish out 2019 for Jumpseat Training, whether it's fighting fires inside hoarding houses or the new aggressively positive class. If you're interested in bringing either of these two courses to your location, please reach out at jumpseatviews@icloud.com. Head on over to Instagram and like us at Jumpseat Views. Follow us on Twitter at Jumpseat Views. Facebook.com/Views from the Jumpseat, and ryanpennington.us. We're still building. Be patient. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week for Bucko 5. See ya!